And so the question now is, what exactly is a simp? You know, I posted some stuff up. You guys are welcome to chime in, man. But see, simps are dangerous. You see what I mean? Because simps, woo wee, man. If you got these guys out here, man, their woman tells them something and they just go with it. The next thing you know, they running up on you or drawing down on you and knowing half the story. And a lot of the issues that we face in the Black community, Black on Black, male on male violence, has a lot to do with ladies, you know, telling half truths to their men, and then the man goes up and enforces whatever she says without even getting the whole story, being emotionally manipulated. And bam, you got a body. Or bam, you got somebody in jail. Bam, you got somebody in the morgue. Bam, you got somebody permanently injured. So, you know, this is something that we need to address, you know. So let's take some time. We're going to read some of these statements that I've been farming today. Anybody who's interested in coming in, man, this conversation is wide open for both men and women. Since I have fielded responses from both men and women. I got my homeboy Amiri Brown coming in there. Amiri, man, I need you to come in, brother. I need you to come in. You are famous on these YouTube streets, brother. You made a miraculous metamorphosis and change. Anybody who knows Amiri Brown, and he is the host of the Great Liberators. I've had him on the show before. He's a brilliant young man. He's also a father. And you know, I want to try and get some good people in here, and I always try to have the best programming for everybody. And we always want it to be intellectually stimulating, something you can take away, something that you can talk about. You see what I mean? Something that you can talk about in mixed environments. And I do that because I want to increase the level of communication between Black men primarily, and also Black men and women, so we can have a better understanding. So we're about 10 minutes in. Make sure you hit up the Snap Super Chat. Make sure you hit up the Cash App. If you enjoy these things that I'm doing, man, if you find it interesting, it's going to be a fun night. We're going to go back and forth, man. I love to get some of you ladies in. Don't be afraid of me. It's a man's channel, but it's also, I'm inviting the ladies in tonight because I want you to talk about this. Some of you ladies were raised by men who were girl dads. Some of you ladies were raised by men who let you get away with everything. Some of you ladies know that you could pretty much tell your father anything and he would go with it. You see what I mean? So, you know, ladies, come on in. And soon as Amiri Brown says, as soon as you mention my name, my face would start acting up. Hey, Amiri, I'm trying to tell you, man, you famous, man. So look, the link is right here. Let's get Amiri Brown and anybody else who wants to come in and chime in. Let's talk about the danger of simps in the Black neighborhoods, in the Black community, and how do we get there? Because see, let me tell you something. In my opinion, I believe that guys, once they have girl children, I believe that they kind of lose their loyalty to manhood. They kind of throw out it goes out the window, right? All the stuff that they know women are prone to do just goes out the window, and they just put their baby girls up on a pedestal, okay? And she can do no wrong. So here she is out here doing all kind of stuff underneath the football field stadium, right? And then she comes home and says, oh, some daddy, this boy did this to me. And little do you know, she been carrying on and fraternizing with this boy for the past month or two. And then she comes tell daddy, and daddy wants to beat the boy up on the side of the damn building. Because what? Because his little girl said that. So what do you guys think about that? First of all, let me give a shout out to Drone Ninja, man. Thanks for the $10, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the content, he says. I'm going to post them up right quick. Thank you. I know, thank you, man. It's people like you to keep me going. The reason I keep coming back every day like this and filling your airways with something interesting and entertaining that you can watch on an intellectual level is because, man, you know, you guys are kicking in. You help them. This is motivation to me. So thank you for that super chat. Anybody who wants to contribute to the super chat, you're welcome to come in and add in on the conversation. So bam, there we go. Drone Ninja, you welcome to come in. Every other people are welcome to, but you'll definitely get in, Drone Ninja. So look, check this out. Let's start with the first topic up. Here's the question. Fellas, have you ever been in a situation where your girl's old ass daddy ran up on you and confronted you about some SHIT his daughter said you did? Now, I posed this question to some of the guys on my Facebook page, right? And so, you know, I got some very, very interesting responses. I'm gonna put this up here, on my Facebook page, because I want you guys to go. I'm gonna just start bugging people like, come on in, man. Let's chop it up, man. I know I got some good guys on Facebook that I work with all the time here. Dorian Gray is one of my favorite, and he said in response to this, he said after family court, I was furious, and her mother had the nerve to call my phone talking about what a real man does. He said, "BIF you and your daughter and stand on that." That's Dorian. Anybody who knows Dorian Gray, you know he's been on my page before. And that sounds like some real G stuff that he might say. And we, man, you gotta be mad to think about that. You leave in family court, aside from the fact that the law is on your side and whatever, you still getting sweated about you still getting sweated even after you won in court. Shout out to let's see, I just got a cash out. Shout out to Emmanuel Johnson, man. I appreciate that. And also shout out to Christopher, man. Appreciate that cash out, man. And you guys keep that coming. But look, let's see if we can get Dorian Gray in there. He is definitely one of the favorites. He's the real G. He keeps it G. Love it. So that was his response to that. So he's leaving court. And his mom, his baby mama's mama calls him up, giving him a hard time because he won in court. Now, I also know situations where oftentimes guys are confronted by men. And so I asked this question to the fellas. I said, fellas, have you ever been in a situation, or let me get it right, because we got that already out there. Fellas, have you ever been in a situation where someone's daddy ran up on you and did you, and talking stuff about his daughter or what she said, and did you confront him? Did you hit him with that Thundercat, or did you give him a pass? That's the question. Did you hit him with the Thundercat, or did you give him a pass? I have Antoine Porter, who said, I remember this woman's dad came up approaching me for the first time. He came on some gangster-ish. And when I gave that energy back, Pops definitely fell back. And then, of course, Dorian Gray said, match or exceed his aggression and he'll fall back. And see, that's a dangerous situation because you really don't know what your daughter did. What did she do? Okay, is she some completely innocent victim, or was she a culprit? Oh my God, Volcanus is back. Thank you so much, man, for the $20 cash out. I mean, $20 Snapchat. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys contributing. So the question now is, what do you do? I had another situation, because I'm talking about dangerous situations that really happen. We have these things that happen. We got 81 people watching. We got 39 likes. Get the likes up, fellas. Let's get the likes up. Let's talk about this. This is a humorous yet serious topic, because some of you guys, you take this girl dad thing too far. You don't know what your trifling daughters have been doing. And the funny thing is, you know their mama is slightly trifling, and she got some of that triflingness from her mom. And yet you're willing to jump in there 45, 50, 60 years old and battle one of these young Thundercats about something your daughter said that he did to her. And that's just dangerous for yourself. So my question is, fellas, how do we go about avoiding these conflicts? How do we talk these simps down off the cliff? You see what I'm saying? Because they out there, they're programmed, as Dr. Tiasan Johnson says, to be, he says to be serfs, concuserfs, to live and die at the whim of what these sisters say. And that's just not appropriate. You can get yourself hurt. Shout out to Thomas Dickerson. I appreciate the $25 super chat. But look, let's get this question answered. I need to know. I appreciate you, brothers. I want to know. Truth, I can't join right now, bro. I'm at the plantation. We need part two. I dig it. Basically, code word is, I can't talk right now. I'm at the house with the wife and the kids. I really can't say nothing right now. I feel you, man. But we're going to get a Mary Brown on here. We got to get him on here. This is, again, we're going to keep this light. We're going to have a good conversation. Let me just go ahead and throw out the link to get in, because I want, please join in. Please join in and let's talk about it. I want you guys to come in. This is a serious subject. Everybody's had to deal with. Hey, sometimes it's not the dad. Sometimes it's some overprotective brother who thinks he's hard and he's trying to front you off and intimidate you, and it just doesn't work out well. These are some of the ramifications that happens. How many of y'all have heard this old statement? There's behind every man in jail or in the morgue is some woman. Who's ever heard that statement? I know I have heard that statement. statement. And so what do we do about that? And here's another thing. Simps come in all forms, but they seem to occur at a higher rate among men with all girls. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Men with all girls. We started off with that proposition, so I'm going to continue. What do you guys think about that? Is that true? Is there some validity to that? Do you think that men with all girls just kind of lose their self? Maybe, maybe not. We got a sister in here tonight, Tanya Del D. Land. I want you to come in here, Del. I want you, Tanya. Don't run away. We're very polite. We're very sweet. We just want to have a conversation. Don't be afraid to come in. I'm going to give a shout out, Tony. I want you to come in here, Tony, and let's have this conversation. I'm going to make this distinct. Tony, fellas, be kind to Tony. We want to have this conversation. We want to get Tony in. I want her to tell us the things that she did to manipulate her daughter. The things she did as a daughter to manipulate a young girl, to manipulate the men in her life, whether it be her uncles or brothers, these sort of things. Because I need you brothers to recognize that women are human beings just like us. Okay, let's get the likes up. We got 81 people in the chat room. We got 45 likes. We got to get these likes up. We got to get these shares. I want everybody to participate. Don't be afraid. This is Uncle D. This is a family situation. Of course, my broadcasts are open to everybody around the world of all different races, but this is specifically for my African-American brothers to have a conversation with my African-American sisters here in the United States. But again, everybody is open. I want to hear your stories. See, but here's the thing. It's always good to have people from other cultures because, see, I happen to know a lot of men from South and Central America. And what I find is it does not matter how many women are in the house. Those Latino men, they run that house like they run it tight. All those women have to do what they're told. Ain't no simping going on in the Latino man's house because Poppy will give it to everybody. Everybody gonna get it when Poppy shows up. Food better be cooked, better be quiet, better not be no drama. Poppy is there. And then there's some other guys who are a lot more laid back. But what I want to know is, fellas, what's been your experience? Now, another thing, let me see. Let's see. Juvia said, I think men with girls that are not with the mother attempt to overcompensate, and this has the potential to end as simping. Well, that may be true. What do you guys think about that? Read the men with girls that are not with the mother attempt to overcompensate, and that has the potential to end up simping. What do you guys think about that? I think there may be some truth to that. You know, he's going to be overprotective of his daughter. Maybe it's because he doesn't want the mama tripping on him. You see what I mean? If something happens, she gets in a problem. My God, what do we do about that? Here's another one. Black men fight me. And this is my stuff. This is the post that I put up. I said, black men fight me harder against the idea that they should date whom they choose and travel abroad more than Black American women. I know you guys know that's true. It's black dudes oftentimes. When I say travel, you don't need to be going overseas and nothing like that. But anyway, let's bring the sister in. Tony, is it okay we show your face? Is that fine? You cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Look, welcome to the Man's Forum. You are in the midst of the lion's den, okay? You are here. There's savages out here, but Uncle D is gonna keep you safe. Look, you're clearly a beautiful woman, okay? And I know women well enough to know that you have a bag of manipulative tricks that you've used on the uncles and men. You probably got some sons and nephews that you have used these tricks on. Tell us about these tricks that you've used on the men in your life to persuade them, whether knowingly or not, to get the things from them that you want. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay, well, it's always, I can smile. I can cry. It depends on the situation, because I'm a little bit of a crybaby. And on the sweeter side, I literally do what they like.
Right.
I mostly surround myself with people or men that I actually like and I don't mind doing nice things for. But sometimes, when I want a little extra something, I might lay it on a little extra. You know what I mean?
Give us an example of how you laid it on. Give it. Come on now. I want to hear it.
Well, I mean, it could be
inoculated to this, huh?
It could be a little more lip gloss that he likes. It could be the heel that he likes. It could be his most favorite meal, So I don't, I'm not that mean-spirited type girl that, wants to be the side where you're manipulating and it's mean-spirited or it's coming from a place of disingenuous, So, but yeah, there are a lot of ways. Like, I mean, I've told little white lies before, to maybe help, especially with my brother or my dad. I'll be like, I don't have nobody to help me to move, stuff like that, So it's just like little things. But I know some women, if they don't like you, there's higher levels of manipulation, which I've actually never got into. If I've done anything, it's literally been very subtle, and most of the time it's brought to my attention. To be honest, a lot of men that I've dealt with, they are up on it, and even in me being a little naive to certain things, they'll bring it to my attention right away.
Now I want you to help me understand something. Like, you're a mature woman, right? And I know you've been around little girls, like little girls who manipulate their fathers and their brothers and stuff. What are the things that even little girls do? I mean, does this come natural, or do they pick it up from their grandmas or their aunties or their mom? Name some of the little things that, like, you've seen little girls that make you say, "Oh, I just can't stand her," because you see her doing it and you know what she's doing, and the men seem like, "Oh, that's." But give me some examples. Maybe you don't have to name names, because we be talking about young people, children, but tell us some things you've seen little girls do to their fathers, and you know she was wrong, and maybe you took her in a room and said, "I know what you did. You're wrong for that." Blah blah blah, whatever. Tell us some things that you've seen even little girls do.
Little girls will play their mom and dad against each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, if, cause I actually have a daughter, and she would want certain things from me. And if she couldn't get it, she'll go and cozy up to her dad, and won't let her dad know that we had previously had the conversation and that I said no. But, my daughter's cute. Like, come on, we use our looks, to get what we want. We can be very, coy and sweet and everything. I hate to say it, but men, you guys really got to stay on your toes. You got to stay on your toes with us. You really have to spend time and get to know a woman so that you'll know, her little ways, her little idiosyncrasies, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, if you're interested in having a woman and having a feminine woman around you, you need to take the time out to get in tune with who she is.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be manipulated. Honestly, you don't.
You know what? I'm gonna differ with you on that. I actually like a woman who can manipulate me and make me feel good about it. I like a woman
That's the good part.
who can get me to do things without yelling at me, without, badgering me, but who can get me to do things that I may not even want to do, like take my vitamins or go to sleep on time.
There's a way to do that.
Or drink 1 cup of coffee as opposed to 3 or 4, or go outside and run my big ass on the treadmill. I like a woman like that. I think that women who do that are actually beneficial to men. I think the only problem that I have and other mature men have is when women use that God-given gift that they have that's embedded in their nature to get extra pairs of red bottoms and other things like that out of men who don't have the money for it, or men that they have no interest in. There was a study that said that 30% of women actually go on dates with guys just for food. I think that's the negative side of, I know, right? It's horrible, right? But I think that's the men that they aren't even interested in. I think that's the thing that kind of turns modern day men off to some of these women. So if you are, I don't know, do you have sons? Do you have any sons or anything like that? Nephews that you advise? Anything?
Yeah, I have nephews and I have 1 daughter, but I have several nephews. And I actually have sent a lot of your videos and posted a lot of your videos on my Facebook just so that my family can look, and especially my nephews. But I can give you a little quick story about the positive manipulation that a woman may have. I dated a gentleman before who wasn't in the greatest of shape. He had the best personality. I actually ended up falling in love with him, but he lived in the Midwest. I'm from the West Coast. And he had a belly on him. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I know what that comes with. It could be, you know, with black men, it could be maybe ED, it could be high blood pressure, it could be all these things, right? So what I started doing was, obviously, I was cooking healthy foods, vegetables, fruits, stuff like that. I didn't bash him. And it got to a point where sometimes, you know, during intimacy, his stomach would be in the way. And I did not make him feel bad about that. You know, I just said, hey, babe, you know, can we walk? He noticed how I was cooking different things. And I was like, you know, I don't really fry anything. I don't really know how to fry food. So I'm going to start, you know, I bake everything. Is that okay with you? He started eating everything baked. We would go walk. Until this day, we're not even together, but we're still friends. His whole lifestyle changed because of the way, like, I you know, was nice to him. I was manipulating him. I said, hey, we got to be around for our kids. We got to be around for each other. You know what I mean? So there is some positivity to that feminine manipulation. But guys, I hope you know the difference. I hope you know the difference between that conniving and that feminine manipulation. You know, I hope you do know the difference.
And see, that's the thing. See, I tell my sons this. I say, and I have 3 boys, and my 2 oldest, one is, he'll be 14 next year, and the other one will be 12. And I train them already. I say, son, look, you're going to be a very successful man. You're already on that path, both of you boys. You're going to have money. But look how strong and big you are. Do you think a girl, any girl, and these boys have multiple black belts and different, they are trained fighters. They shoot firearms. You know, we live in Texas, so I train them. I said, you know that there's no way a girl can just beat you up and make you do stuff, right? They're like, yeah. I said, so how do you think they're going to go about getting you to do things? They're going to use shame. They're going to use guilt. They're going to deal with your emotions. Now, the first lesson that I taught my boys is to control your emotions. And in fact, that's probably one of my first rules in my books, rules to live by, because if you allow somebody else to control your emotions, then you have no control of yourself. But this is what I also told them. What they see from me. Now, I have this lovely young lady, and she's kind of put me on a little bit of a mild diet, but she coaxes me into doing things mildly with love and attention, and she'll throw a little guilt in there, but it's for my better interest. And men like me, we like that. I like the fact that you want me to live longer, so you take the yolk out of my egg sandwich and you don't put cheese on it. I like the fact that you won't bring me coffee every day. You'll bring me some green tea with a little honey in it. I like that. See, so that's not a problem.
To do. That's right. Love you. That's what we're supposed to do.
So, fellas, listen to this. This is a woman who has a healthy relationship with her father. She has a healthy relationship with her nephews. And what I tell the brothers all the time, and there are women out there like that, but is on you as a man to weed them out. You can't expect women. Okay, human beings are going to get what they can from, period. So it's on you to weed out the ones that aren't any good for you or that are trying to manipulate and use you. And that way you won't get your feelings hurt, and you won't come to the internet mad at all the women, because it's not all the women. They're human beings just like us. And so, you know, if you can do me a favor, just kind of sum up, give some advice to men, young men, because we got a lot of 20-year-olds here that follow me, maybe even younger, some older. Tell them what they can do, what red flags they should look for when they're dealing with a woman, solely on the subject of her trying to manipulate them and turn them into a simp for her own interest. Give us some of your advice.
Honestly, if they're coming at you with a lot of sex, you know, because I think sex pretty much clouds every young man's train of thought. If she's coming at you prematurely with sex and it's just out of this world, of course, I mean, no man could really resist that. But come on, like, have some self-control, have some discipline about yourself, set some standards. I'm telling you, women that are manipulators, they will run from a man who has standards. Okay, so maybe do 3 to 5 standards of your own that you just do not break at any cost. and stick to them. I'm telling you, you will weed out those type of women that are trying to run your pockets, that are trying to manipulate you with sex. Set some standards, some ground rules. As a young man, do that for yourself. That will set the foundation of your life when you're dealing with women. So make sure you don't let sex get in the way. Set some standards about sex. Respect before sex. If they're not respecting you, if they're not meeting small requirements, I mean, like, try them out with just a small requirement. Say, hey, look, you know, we're going to meet up at this time or that time, and this is what I want you to wear. See if she'll do it. See if she'll respect you enough to do it.
Wow.
And if she respects you with the small things, then go ahead. But make sure you got 3 to 5 standards that you stand on, those principles. Don't waver. And you can weed out these chicks that are just not going to be there for you in the right way.
Thank you so much, Tony.
I want black men to win too. I want black men to win too. I love y'all. I love black men. That's all I love.
You too. So. We appreciate you. See, we need more of this. You see what I mean? We need more sisters like you to actually come on and speak up, because I mean, if you listen to the mass media and you listen to some of the stuff that's going on, you swear up and down we hate each other. You swear up and down we can't get along. And it's just so unfortunate that we don't have more voices like yourself coming on saying, no, I love my black men. Oh, I want my black men to succeed.
I want the best for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I want the best for you. We can do it if we stick together. But honestly, black people as a whole, we need to set standards. Yes. In the black community, we must set some standards, not only for us. It starts with us. We live in our own home. We live with ourselves. Look at yourself every day. What standards have you set for yourself? Because once you set those standards for yourself, everybody around you, they're going to fall in line. And especially us women, if we love you.
Amen. Thank you so much, sister. I appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime. All right. You have a blessed day. All right. Okay. So look, fellas. Okay. So what I emphasize here is building better men. Okay. What did I tell you all the time? I want you healthy. I want you psychologically fit. I want you financially stable. Now, the other thing that we have to address is you have to have the level of confidence and esteem for yourself, that you don't let women just manipulate and use you. Now, we just heard this sister right here, Miss Tony, who came in and basically said the same thing. Set some standards. Don't let these women do. You don't want to be a simp. And here's the other thing. Even when you have daughters, you men with daughters, you have an obligation to make sure you're not throwing the same type of manipulative women out there who are ruining all these good men out here. Now, that doesn't mean she's supposed to just be nice to every dude, but show respect. Teach your daughters to show respect. Teach them to respect themselves enough not to take things from men that they know they're not interested in, not to use their power, their God-given manipulative powers, which is embedded in their DNA and their being, to do things that hurt other black men, because all that happens is you just create problems. And then the games begin to play, and then people's feelings get hurt. So shout out to D. Swain. He said, thank you for the 1999 super chat donation. What's up, Uncle D? A woman should know how to finesse her man. Those that embrace their femininity and know this is her power are good at that. Men don't want to be manipulated. Here's the thing. Femininity is the key. Just like women are attracted to masculine men, I think we call it alpha males or whatever, you know. Women are attracted to masculine men, and men are attracted to feminine women. It's damn near impossible to be a healthy, normal, strong-minded, masculine man and be attracted to a masculine, domineering woman. That's just impossible to do. Yeah, you know what? You might stay around to smash, but for the most part, to be in a relationship with a woman like that is damn near impossible in the long run. So I want you guys to contemplate that. Now, back to what I was saying, a feminine woman is supposed to already know her key to your psyche is her femininity. So if she knows how to get in and manipulate you, and she does it, and she does good things for you, she makes you do what? Not spend all your money on silly cars, not trick your money off going to different places like strip clubs, not eating food that's bad for you, not doing so. then that's a good woman that you should keep around, because she's dialed into who you are. She knows how to deal with you, and she's in it to help you win. That's actually okay. It's okay. Just like it's okay to have a man who is a leader and who is dominant, who a woman submits to, if he's a good moral leader of the family. You see, if he's giving her good, strong, solid moral advice, and he's not leading her down some dark, dusty, long road, that's a good man for a woman to follow. So we allow those men to be the leaders of the house. We want those type of domineering men. We want women to submit to those type of men. There's nothing wrong with that. We want men to be able to be what? Manipulated for their own better interests. Baby, don't go out tonight. It's dangerous outside. Baby, don't eat that big slab of pork ribs. That stuff will kill you. Don't do that. Leave those collard greens and pork chops and cornbread alone, son. Eat a salad. We need women like that. We should have mothers like that. We should have sisters like that. We should have women like that we marry or become in romantic relationships with. It's nothing wrong with that. We want that. That's part of human nature. We actually make each other better when we do that. So look, I want you all to take the time, click on the link. Let's come in. Let's have a conversation. I'm gonna put the link up in the Snapchat. I'm gonna put the link in the comments. I want you guys to come in. Let's have a conversation. I want to talk. I want people to come in and chop it up. Let's talk about simping in the Black community. Here, I'm gonna put another one up here. Let me see. I'm gonna put another statement up that we talked about today on my Facebook page. If you're not part of the Facebook page, then you're really missing out on a lot. The Simps and the Jones have stepped in to wage the war on behalf of the gynocracy. How should we deal with them? Okay, so basically in the Black community, there's been a war of the sexes that's been going on. It's been one-sided for about the first 40 years, maybe 50 years. But now, since the advent of the internet, okay, and social media, what we have is, give me 1 minute, James Keels, I'm gonna bring you in a minute. But since we have since the advent of the internet, what's happened is Black men have been able to speak up on their own behalf. And we've been able to talk about the issues that we face in the Black community and maybe the issues that we have with Black women. Now, the sisters have been screaming and hollering about how, oh my God, can't you bashing Black women, you blah, blah, blah. They've been saying that, but really it is, all this is a response to what they've been saying for the past 40 years on the movies, social media, and all these different things. You see what I mean? So now here we are. Where my man left? Come on back in here, brother. I was gonna click you in here in a minute, but oh well, I guess we lost it, brother. So anyway, here's a link. Y'all come in. Let's chop it up. So now what has happened is the women have kind of sat down, and who's taken over? A bunch of dudes that are like simps, who are like, I had a, you know, and I don't want to call a brother simp or anything, but you know, the brother that came in the other day, if you look at the live feed from a couple of days ago, I mean, this brother, he had all the Black American woman talking points there. It was so bad, I kind of thought the brother was a lady. You know what I mean? Just because of the way he was coming. I'm like, this must be like a fake account and his brothers. But we went through, we had a live, and we talked it up, and we were very respectful to each other. The brothers chimed in. We had a conversation. Come to find out, he's a Black man, 40-something years old. And, you know, he's a child of, you know, he has multiple girl children, you know, and, you know, he was raised in a house with a stepdad and his mom. So, you know, you can look at it and you can draw from that what you will. But the bottom line is those type of brothers and that rhetoric that they bring to our conversations that we as Black men are having to deal with at this point. So, you know, what do we do with that? Look, come on back in. Anybody who wants to chime in, we got about another 15 minutes out here. Make sure we get the super chat up. Make sure we get the cash on it. Make sure we get these likes up, because it looks like we have 102 people and we only have 88 likes. I want all the likes off the chain, and I want to get some more Cash App donations. Who else have we forgot? Let me see. Giovanni Gigetto says, nah, man, brothers gotta leave that pork alone. Got swine on your mind. Look, man, it's Thanksgiving. I know what they're doing out there, man. You can't lie to me. I know what they're doing. Dennis, you have a BW out here saying they love BMs, but they all have a child custody case on their baby daddy with child support payments. How, Sway? How? look, man, that's a different conversation. You're gonna have to give a lot of money to the super chat if you want me to talk about child custody. That we could go on with that for days. But boy, yeah, I know that's always in the back of your mind. Here we go. He says, Walt JOH 100 says, Tony Dellin, you are the same one that did the virtual consultation with Kevin. Okay, I don't know about that, but you know, whatever, man. Thank you, sis. Love you for being. Yeah, I do. I appreciate the sisters coming on. The ones that come on and they're real and they're keeping it 100. We need women like that to have that conversation out here. So let me see. Let's see. It seems like, okay, let me go back over here. It seems like when some men become girl dads, they go out of their way to side with women, even on illogical BS. What happens to a man who has daughters? That's the question that I want to know. Any people answer that question. What happens to a man when he has only daughters? What happens? Tell me what happens. And let me see. James Neal said, my phone is acting up. Just thank you for this class on manhood for us. Well, I mean, thank you so much, James. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. The thing is, man, it's hard to be, you're designed to desire women. You're designed to want to be with a woman. That is embedded in your DNA. To resist that temptation, okay, makes you almost godlike. Because you, I mean, being with a woman after you, you have biological needs that drive you. You see what I mean? And women know that. They know that. And they know you want to please them. And then and they will use their manipulation, they will use their skill to, you know, have you doing things that you shouldn't be doing. You see what I mean? And so that's the problem. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to weed out those women, or at least check those women who are trying to turn us into simps. Now, here's another thing. Let me see. My man, Trey, the NBD said, I got 3 girls, nothing changed. They know I'm their rock, and I take no trash from scratch. Look, Trey, I need you to come on in here. You the one we need to talk to, the representative of the girl dads. I need Trey to come in here. Trey, come on in here with your girl. I need girl dad representative, Trey, the NBD, to come on in here so we can have this conversation. That's what we need to do. Now, let's see who else. Now we got Son of Israel. What's up, Son of Israel? Talk to me, bro. What's happening? What you know about these girl dads and these simps?
Hey, you're gonna have to give me a sec. I'm trying to switch my my audio to, because I got my Bluetooth headphones in. I need to switch to my mic.
Okay, yeah, I'll put you back in the hole, and you come on out when you're ready. Okay, just send me a private message when you're ready to come in. All right. So look, here's what I'm saying, fellas. Girl dads are. Let's see. Afro patriarchy said girl dads are the enemy to men with some power. Oh, come. I hate the enemy, brother. Damn, that's some strong language. Let's get Afro patriarchy in here, man. Come on in, man. I need to get this conversation popping. Sun is hot, raw. Thank you for the super chat. He said, although I agree, I think it's too late because black men have had to put up with so much from black women. They simply had enough, and they're not trying to hear anything if it's positive. Here's the problem, bro. Where we gonna go? All you brothers gonna get white women? Huh? You gonna get Latinos? You ain't got nowhere else to go, so you got to deal with this problem. This is the same thing. I was having a conversation with a brother the other day on Facebook. Before I get started, shout out to Drone Ninja. Thank you for the super chat. But look, I was having the same conversation with a brother the other day. Look, we got all these young men around in the black community. Either we are going to try to guide them and help them learn how to be strong, upstanding, righteous, financially stable, emotionally stable black men, or we're going to deal with them in 20 years when they're kicking in our front door or impregnating our daughters. You choose, brother. And then some of the brothers said, well, I don't want to be the cuck that's just taking care of these kids from these other men. Bro, these are the cards that were dealt to us, and this is what we have to deal with. Now, I'm doing my best to do my part, okay? I'm trying to get these brothers online on point with this, and this is where we are. So look, we got Son of Israel and Afro Patriarchy in. Son of Israel, Afro Patriarchy, talk to us, man. Tell me what's up, bro. What you got on these girl dads?
Hey, good to see you. Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead. Who was that? Son of Israel?
Yes, sir.
All right, what you got on these girl dads and simps? Let's talk about it. How can we avoid the symptoms and the simpletonness? Talk to me. What do we need to do?
Well, first things first is the men that are fathers, they really, really need to understand that they are the ultimate protection between their daughters getting into these bad relationships and these, bad situations. And part of their responsibility is to recognize the value and the potential of men that are coming seeking after their daughters.
All
What do I
right,
mean by that?
let that be your opening salvo. I
Okay,
want to
as far
hear.
as that.
No problem. Next up, let's hear your opening salvo.
All right, I'll say this. I should have put a hyphen and said simpish girl dads. Simpish girl dads are the enemy of black men with some
You
power.
sure did. That was you, Mr. Controversial. That's gonna be your name for the rest of the night. Go ahead. I'm just kidding, bro. Talk to me. What? Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, because simply the fact is that I have I go to the gym, not now, but
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and I've seen arguments with before it was a trend to call yourself a girl dad. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen the conversations and the arguments in the gym between fathers and young men who when they were arguing and debating and I remember I told one guy I remember when I was going to the rec center up in Queens up over here in Queens way back in the day, and I said to this one guy who was a girl dad, I mean before it was a trend, and I said do you know that what these girls be doing out here? I mean, if you are a father of
Yeah.
boys, I think you would know and you would be more cautious. But I said these girls out here are running pretty hard out here. They're not as innocent as you think. And
Yeah.
I mean, look now, the culture. I mean, even then in my 20s, I
Right.
knew I was seeing what I was seeing. So
All
now
right.
I'm looking
Let's
at
let that be your
yeah.
opening
Go ahead.
salvo. I'm going to add something. Let's talk about some famous girl dads. Information that was brought up to me. Barack Obama, clearly a simp. Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, clearly a simp. Okay.
Sad.
And here's
It's
another one
sad.
that's not going. And here's another one that's not going to hit y'all right. Malcolm X, clearly a simp. You don't believe me? Tell me you don't believe me.
Oh, bro, I know
Tell
that
me you don't
story.
believe me.
I know that.
I
I
want to hear you
believe you. I
explain it.
believe
Wasn't it
you.
Malcolm X that
I,
said that black women are the most downtrodden women on the planet? Didn't he say something like that?
yeah, and it's really children, not women.
Yeah, but I know, right? So what would motivate him to say something like that, other than the fact that he has 3 black daughters? What's up, Straight Facts? I'm gonna get to you in a minute. So we talking about. I mean, it almost seems as though, and I have the quote here that I put up today because I wanted to talk to these brothers about this. And look, let me tell you. I mean, there's a role for simps because simps keep the economy going. Simps are gonna go out there and break themselves from Christmas
That's
and
true.
buy. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a reason why we breed simps. I'm just trying to get the brothers to follow me on my pages, not to be simps. You see what I'm saying? I just want you to all to get your money's worth. The $2,000 or $3,000 you save from not spending it on this woman or that woman that really doesn't care about you, you can use to invest in your own life. You can buy yourself a gym membership. You can buy yourself some stock. Hopefully, you bought yourself some stock in some of these pharmaceuticals who
That's
are
what I
coming up
did.
cure. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. You see, I'm just trying to save the ones here that I have. Straight Facts. Introduce yourself, man. Tell us what you think about simps and girl dads and what we as black men can do to be more alert of when we're being manipulated and trying to be transferred into simps, either from the perspective of a romantic relationship or even by our own daughters, especially when it goes against their own best interests.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
Talk to
sir.
me. Yeah, we listen.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, man. Tell us what you think about the simps and the girl dad, this argument. Is this a helpful conversation to you?
Oh, yeah, man. Definitely, man. I fully agree with everything you're saying. But here's where I'm at with it. Um, I listen to a lot of these guys, in the so-called black, you know, manosphere, and it seems to be that they blame women just like a lot of these women just blame men. But to be honest, um, if you're a simp and you're leading with your wallet, you can't blame these women. They need to blame themselves, because I mean, I knew this as a young guy. So they see guys that's 30 plus 40 years old, that's how he want to continually blame women for their wrong decisions, man. It's sad. And I just want to say, man, what you're saying is the truth, man. And it's sad that brothers really don't want to change. So I think that once a guy is in his late 20s and his early 30s, is no hope for him.
Hello?
Man, he's gonna be a simp until he.
Hold on 1 minute, Archer. I'm gonna introduce you in a minute. I want this brother to finish. Straight facts to finish. Go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, man. Once a guy is in his late 20s and his early 30s, man, it's no hope for him, man. He's gonna be a simp, and those decisions are gonna be detrimental to his self interest.
All right. So look, before we go any further, I need you guys to donate to the super chat. You're not going to get this anywhere. There's nowhere else. I promise you, there's nowhere else in media, either mass media or social media, where we're talking about stuff like this. So donate to the super chat. Hit up the Cash App. Let's show your appreciation for this. Now, following up to my statement about Malcolm X, Brother Basil Benjamin said this: Malcolm X expected women to live by a certain standard. Simps don't expect anything. And then I responded to him. I said, well, Malcolm also said that there was, and I believe he was quoting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said that the reason you have bad women is because a bad man made her like that. That sounds to me like you are allowing women, you're shifting all the agency off of women on the men. To me, that's more simp talk. Now, I know we love Malcolm X. We love the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But is there a reason why they said that at that time that has now changed? I know if you had said, if any time one of these pastors or preachers or anybody says something negative about female behavior, what happens to the church congregation? It disappears, right? So maybe what they had to do was say those things to keep those women in the mosque, because if the women left the mosque, then the men might leave the mosque. And then you lose the movement. So they had to do something. I mean, you can't, we know women well enough to know if you start forcing them to take blame for things, what are they going to do? They're going to deny it, right? And then they're not going to want to hear it, and they're going to leave. But again, we love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We appreciate all the things, the Honorable Brother Malcolm X. And of course, the things that they've done for the Black community is just undeniable. But I believe that particular rhetoric is being used now, and it's being thrown in our face, and goes to the detriment of the Black community as a whole right now, because it disallows our sisters to take responsibility for some of their negative behavior. Would anybody like to chime in on that?
I would love to chime in on that right quick if I had a chance.
Let's hear it, bro. Talk to me.
I actually agree that with Malcolm X and what they said about the women acting the way they act because of men. I think that's correct. 100% correct. But I come at it from a different angle. They come at it from the angle of the women are acting this way because the men are bad and the men don't do what they're supposed to do. I come at it from the women are acting this way because the men are weak. The men, see, women of other cultures don't act. Women of other cultures don't act this way because their men are firm and steadfast and united and are quick, has a big collective unit to put a giant foot on neck. Black men, on the other hand, we are too weak, too passive. We are too benevolent to our women. So yes, we are to blame for their behavior, but we are to blame because of our softness, not because of our
is it that we're more egalitarian and we're more willing to accept the input from women than most men from other cultures? Yes. Is that fair to say? Because weak has such negative connotations associated. I think that because we're typically raised by women, we're more egalitarian. And actually, brother, when you go to other countries and you deal with other women who are from Colombia, Dominican Republic, Peru, all these places, even our African sisters, East African and West Africa, what they will tell you is that we love Black American men, not because they're American, but because they're more likely to listen to us. They're more egalitarian. They're more likely to try to accommodate us. So is that really a bad thing?
Yes, it is.
Now we got to ask the question: is simping, at least to some degree, really a bad thing? I mean,
can I respond to that right quick?
Go ahead. Let's see what you got to say. Then we're gonna move on. I want somebody else to hit it up.
I dated a Somalian girl for about a year, and me and her had a conversation on why she no longer dates Somalian men. She said she doesn't like the way Somalian men treat her. They are too strict. And I said, so why do you date black men? What do you like about black men? She said, they're nicer and easier to get along with. She thought that was a compliment. I took that as an insult. Basically, the way I read that is she can get away with more with me than she could with her own men. So yes, there is. You look at the difference between Somalian women and Muslim women, and the way they behave, and Black American women, the way they behave. You see the difference, even though some of the women might behind closed doors say negative things, but you see the difference. Results are all that matters. And we get negative results for our behavior.
Is there anybody else who'd like to chime? This is a hot topic, man. We got a lot of people in the chat room. I want to get the likes up. Make sure you hit the super chat up. You're not going to hear this conversation anywhere. All right, go.
Straight flex, you can go in, I'll come in after.
Because, I'm Haitian. I'm descent. I like to call myself American Haitian first. And,
you my brother. That's who you are. You're my black brother. What's happening, bro?
As a Haitian man, I grew up in the African American community, and you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, brother. Talk to us.
Oh, okay. So I grew up in the African American community, and I still held on to my Caribbean heritage. And went back. I even lived there for a time, and I see the difference. I even see the difference with my mom. But I wouldn't say it's too far off, like some of the things with African American. I would say it's more like how African American women used to be back in the 50s. That's how my mom behaves. But I would definitely say growing up, I saw the difference, and a lot of times African American women did not like me because of the strict nuclear family that they saw in other Haitian groups, the Haitian group. They saw the strictness among the men, and so they didn't like me very much. They didn't like it. Oh, you Haitian? This should be like kind of like
BL. Shout out to BL and S Holding. I appreciate the $5 super chat. He says, I remember the women fighting over me in clubs in Peru. Wish every Black American man could experience that. I know just what you're talking about, bro. Also, shout out to Emma Z. It's not weak, brothers. We have no power to I'm not gonna say what, but that's what he said. And then let's see. Lastly, Walt JOH, did we define simp? I tuned in late. Is used gratuitously in these spaces. I have a definition of simp. I'll put it up there. But who wants to attack that question that we still have before us? All right, who wants to touch on that? And everybody, make sure you donate to the super chat, man. If you enjoy this, get in it. Who's next on this other?
I'm coming in. Say the question real quick just to make sure I have it perfect.
Well, no, brother. We are just generally talking about simp behavior, and are we weak? Are we more egalitarian? Is that a benefit or is that a drawback when dating women from overseas? Because they seem to like it. Okay, I mean, this is where the conversation is going, and I'm just facilitating. This is Black men talking and the world listening. So let's hear what you got. What do you think?
All right, I'm coming at it more back onto the topic as far as Black men with daughters. Okay, so you had Archer come in and say about how Black men aren't firm, they aren't putting their foot down. I'm going to kind of give a little bit of flesh that out a bit more. So I say that, yes, we don't really have a firmness when it comes to our households. And if we do have a firmness, it's not directed. So say you got a man who's got a daughter, 2 daughters, 3 daughters. A lot of Black men who are fathers don't want to don't want to take, how can I say it? They don't want to take pride in the decision power that they have. What do I mean by that? You as a father should honestly be deciding who gets paired up with your daughter, and you shouldn't be putting your daughter's input into that, because you have the logic in your household. You know what to look for in men, and you need to say, listen, I'm going to be looking at the men, and choosing who you need to get with. Now, why do I say that? Oh, go ahead.
All right, who's next? What else? Who else wants to add in? Let's see who goes. Go ahead. Shout out to Charles Ray, just showing support. I appreciate that, Charles Arby.
Yeah, get
Hey, what's going on, Dennis, man? Good to see you, man. We ain't been on the same panel since Nicole Michelle about a year ago.
Oh, yeah, man. I know, man. You know, it's been a long time. I was out in the Dominican Republic in my pool when we were having that conversation, man. But I don't want to talk about it. I got a girlfriend now. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go ahead.
Man,
that's me simping right there. How about the simping? Yeah. But anyway, let's see what you got, bro. Talk to me. I think we interrupted somebody else. Who was that was about to chime in?
I was going to chime in.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Well, like I said, I got 3 daughters. You know, I'm 45. My daughters are 26, and 19 and 16.
Okay.
And like honestly, what kept them, going down the semi-straight path, they had their bumps in the road, was the fact that I was raised by my dad, man. I'm 45, same age as you, bro. I'm a mid Gen Xer, but I had one of them like good times type dads at home.
Okay. Explain further. Talk to me, because see, you're the girl dad representative tonight, so you're gonna have to defend all the girl dads. How do you avoid being manipulated by your daughters? Were you manipulated? What do you do when it's happening?
The only manipulation they get over on me is when it deals with like little girly stuff, like, stuff the girls want their dads to do. Buy them a little something, buy them a dress, you know what I'm saying? Hey, spot me on the phone bill, stuff like that. But when it comes to boys, they're like, look, they're straight up. They meet a guy, it's like, my dad will kill you. I don't know. My dad was, in the army, some special forces type something. But all I know is he was in Afghanistan 4 times. My dad is crazy.
All right, so I want to talk to you about a serious subject, okay? You're the protector and the provider of your family. You have 3 daughters, right?
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been in a situation where you ever had to confront a young man about something that he allegedly did to your daughter?
Oh, I got one. He's hiding from me.
All right,
trying to put his hands on my middle daughter.
If you don't mind, if we're beyond the statute of limitations, please go ahead and tell us what happened. We need to know.
Man, I drive over the road. I own a freight business, and I had one of my vans. I was going into Canada, in Montana. Canada, I get a call. My daughter goes down to the school down by the border near Mexico.
Who'd you get a call from? I'm going to play prosecutor. Who'd you get a call from?
Oh, I got a call from her.
You got a call from your daughter. All right, let's see what happened.
Yeah, she said he slapped me and hit me and did this. And, of course, I called campus police. I can't get down. Then I called my son. My son's 25. I'm like, get your butt down there. He's 6 hours away, but I said, go. Okay. Get down there.
All right.
Fill in for me.
Did you talk to anybody else other than your daughter about what transpired in that situation?
Just my son. Because,
was your son a witness to what happened?
No.
So your daughter was the only person who she told you what happened, and you went off of that, and you were headed to her when you sent your son to the campus. Is that correct?
No. When I talked to the campus police, the police confirmed it. He did it in public. There were groups in the commons area of the dorm.
What exactly did the police say happened?
They said they got into an argument, and he said he slapped my daughter, and people had to intervene that were in the commons area, and then they came and arrested him. And all this stuff.
Here's a trick question. What exactly did your daughter do? Did he just walk up to your daughter and slap her? I mean, I want to know. I know that's your daughter. And you should on the side of your daughter. I'm just trying to ask you what led up to that. Because typically what I've learned, and I love you, brother, and I commend you for defending your daughter and defending your family. But what I've learned is that 50% of these domestic violence issues oftentimes are instigated by women. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, so I know, man.
But no, I'm just that because see, it's not. I'm not picking on you.
I gotta agree with that.
No.
But let me finish with my brother here. But did you, before you went down there, and you say you're looking for the young brother now? What did you get his side of the story? Were there any other witnesses that you talked to?
I talked to my daughter's roommate. She confirmed what the campus police said. But my daughter, they know don't lie to me. I said straight up, tell me what happened. A couple of weeks before, she'd almost sliced his hand off. And he had a big old wrap around his hand when I seen him. And, my youngest daughter, she was like, yeah, my daughter cut him.
All right, but bro, see what I know. But listen to me, brother. I hear you and I love you and I appreciate you. But see, that's what I'm talking about. So your daughter assaulted that man with a deadly weapon. And then at some point later on, there was a confrontation and he slapped her with his hands. So I'm going to tell you, if the roles were reversed and somebody's son had sliced your daughter, and in response, what she did was slap him, you would feel that was justified, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, I didn't, you know.
And I know, brother, it just bear me out. So in a situation where your daughter has cut somebody's hand and he had a wrap around it, she's cut him with a deadly weapon. And it sounds to me like if it's a cut, that might be a defensive cut. I don't know. You said it was on his hand, so this is typically how defensive cuts happen. She might have been hit trying to aim his face or something about on the man defending himself, the young man defending himself. So why is he the bad guy in this situation?
But here's the thing about the bad guy in the situation. I just got him just for principle, but I had it out with my daughter about it because I know she's the guilty party as well. I had this convo. I didn't
get him just for principle. I love you, bro, and I don't give you your hard time. I love you, man. What I'm trying to do is talk you down off that ledge. You see what I'm saying? Because we need you and we love you. But your daughter assaulted a man with a deadly weapon. Okay, and then apparently at some point confronted him. I don't know who he slept with that pissed her off, but it sounds personal to me. I don't want to get into it. Ain't none of my business. Right?
Hey, I tell you the funniest part. One night, you know, I'm driving him back to college. He heard me. I thought they were asleep. He heard me rocking that Mobb Deep from back in the day. And he was like, yeah, you know, your daughter told me you're into that, you know, the NWA, the Mobb Deep, the Onyx and all those days. Right. You know, he's like, you know, wow, you know, you really listen to hard rap. Is that, you know, is that how you used to be?
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and gave him that fuck around and find out look.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly are not, you an Afghan war man. You clearly not somebody to be messed with. But what I'm saying is, brother, it sounds to me like your daughter played a part in this situation. It sounds, and I know you want to get them on GP because that's your daughter. But what if this? And I'm just going to present a scenario. What if he also has people that he loves that are just like you on the other side? And when you get him after your daughter has sliced this man, then it just goes on and on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
You see what I mean? And I love you, brother. And see, this is what I'm saying. Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got sons, and if some girl slapped my son in the face, I'll be like, well, whatever. Did it hurt? Go ahead. And I'm a father. I'm a dad. I'm a boy dad. So I'm like, okay, man, you've been punched in the mouth. You've been kicked. You've been hit in the head with roundhouses. We've been doing this since you were 6 years old. Some girl slaps you in the face. Whatever. I'm not going to even take it that seriously. But you, apparently, and I love you, brother, but it sounds like you want to put all your military skills on this college-age boy because he slapped your daughter after she cut him with a knife.
Jump off the ledge.
You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to bring you back down off. I know you love your daughter. She's probably beautiful. And you're a little angel, and you was there to catch her when she came out. You love her. I wish I had a daughter like you. I love my sons, but it's like, yeah, you fall down, get up, whatever. You're a boy, you be all right. But the thing is, brother, it just seems like maybe we need to bring you down off the ledge a little bit. Man,
I'm not that far.
Okay, good, brother. God bless you. Hey, man, anybody else would like to talk to?
Yeah. I just want to go in to say,
talk to you in a place of love. We love you. Look, you're not gonna get this sort of entertainment anywhere else. Okay, I want you, brother, to donate to the super chat before we move forward. We only got a few more minutes left. This is a wonderful conversation. This is headway. You see, this is how you talk to your brothers. So because if you speak to the way we get brothers to come down off of that is we have to speak to them with love and with logic and hopefully lay it out in a way that they can really get a chance to really digest and think about it. I love my brothers. I want to see all my black brothers succeed. And I'm sitting here like I was a judge. Because see, like if I'm an attorney. So if you came to my court after all this happened, I'm gonna be like, man, the hell were you thinking about? I got to give you 7 years in jail because you done hit this boy upside the head, damn near killed him. And you're a great dad and you love your daughters and I understand what you're coming from, but this is what the law says in this book. You could have avoided this, man. This is what I would be telling you as your peer and as your black brother because the law says what it says. And they're not going to cut you any breaks. You see what I'm saying? It'd be different if you were standing next to somebody and they slapped your child. You're supposed to try to lay their ass out. But to then go afterwards is something, it's akin to premeditate. You see what I'm saying? So just think about what I'm saying. I hope this, I hope you take it the right way. But just think about it, bro. Some stuff, maybe your daughter might have sparked this up a little bit, bro. You know what I mean? Like I don't even want to know what happened before that, but you know what I'm saying? But anyway, somebody else chime in. What do y'all think about this, man?
I want to just keep it. Oh, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that back in 1999, I know I'm just giving you a minute. I'm gonna this anecdote. Back in 1999, I was seeing this girl. I was really into her, and I was cool with her father. I was really close with her father, and always came, respect, firm handshake, look him in the eyes, say hello, sir, no, sir, and but the thing with his daughter was, I liked her, but she was wild. Ooh. She was wild and she was hypocritical.
Yes, Lord.
She was very hypocritical. Mm-hmm. And she always made fun of I had a slight accent at the time, so she always made fun of my accent. So
now, was this a romantic relationship, or did y'all live next door to each other and she just was harassing?
No, she lived down the block from me.
Was this some romantic relationship that you was having over there, bro?
No consensual, no sexual. It was just new. It was fresh.
Okay, so he was attempting the romantic. So she was teasing you, and then she was okay. Let's hear. Come on, let's see what you.
And I know her dad wanted me to keep pursuing because he saw how upright I was. He saw how upright and upstanding I was. But her daughter was just, let's be honest, she was a hood booger. Okay, she was a hood booger, and I didn't find that out until I started to try to romance her as I got close enough to her. So what happened is that we were at a block party one summer, and I was there and I saw her. But the thing was that she didn't tell me. She told me she was working. But of course, I come out, I hang out, and then I see her, but she don't see me. So I'm looking at her interact, and she's interacting with these kids I know who straight hood. They're hood kids, you know what I mean? Right. I know them. So I'm watching from afar as she's interacting with them, and they grabbing her, they touching all types of ways and shit like that. And right there, you know what I mean. They were just she was letting them get away with a lot. She was letting them get away with a lot.
Stuff she wouldn't let you get away with? Is that what's
stuff that she would not let me get away with? Exactly. Stuff that she would not let me get away with.
Okay.
So I'm like half a block. I'm watching with a hawk. Just go down. And I'm just sitting there watching, and I just we weren't there was no consent, no contract. There was no real romantic contract of boyfriend girlfriend. So I had to just take it. I had to just take it on as an L. You know what I mean? But then she had the nerve to come and harass me. I was at the bus stop. She had the nerve to come and harass me because I didn't call her. I didn't get in. I was done. After that, I was like, I just cut her loose. Okay. So when I saw her father again, her father, walked up to me in the supermarket and was kind of aggressive.
What?
And then I had to stop him and say, I don't know why she told you. But I told him everything I saw one night. And I said, man to man, you got to understand that any man would just walk away.
Right.
I said, any man, mind you, I'm like 19. I'm talking like
so let me get this straight. So you telling me that the dad got mad at you because some other men were rubbing all up or getting all close to his woman getting all close to his daughter at a party or something like that?
No, I think he might have asked what happened to me because I just disappeared. I ghosted.
Mm-hmm.
And he came at me like, yo, man, I liked you. You just kind of disappeared. What happened? Because she said that you just stopped talking to her abruptly. And you had a smart remark for her when she tried the bus stop. And I'm sitting there going, and he's like, the way he's coming at me is kind of like with energy. You know the energy, what I mean, this energy. And I had to slow his roll and go, sir, I think you have an idea of who the type of guy I am, and I did not just I didn't go ghost your daughter because of no reason.
Right.
And he was like, oh, what was the reason? And I said, I told him flat, sir, I don't have the heart to tell you.
Oh, so you never told him? Did you give him a hint as to what his daughter was doing?
No, I said to him, I would just say that your daughter ain't who you think she is.
Okay, so let me summarize this for everybody. So basically, Afro patriarchy is saying he had met this girl. She's a neighborhood girl. He cool with the dad. The dad was cool with him because he was a respectable young guy. And basically, she said, the little girl said she was at work, and in actuality, she was at a party that Afro patriarchy happened to be going to. And then from a distance, he saw her getting felt up in the corner, thotting it up with a bunch of little thug dudes. And so he went ghost, cut her off, said something fly to her one day at a bus stop when she asked, why you not talking to me anymore? And so the dad ran up on him in a grocery store, confronted him like he did his daughter wrong, when in actuality, my man made a concise determination, but this wasn't the type of woman he wanted to be with. Is that fairly summarized?
Yes, sir.
All right. So look, man, sounds like the daddy was a simp, and that could have went left easily.
I hope not, but
yeah, he could have just ran up on you and just start, trying to, go upside your head without even know the full story. And we have that happen all the time. And that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of these girl dads, they just believe anything that their daughters say. And then bam, next thing you know, they at war, or they done put some young man under or something like that. And then we got a problem. Shout out to Mr. Hayes. I appreciate the Cash App, Emmanuel Johnson II, and also Christopher. Thank you for the Cash App to finally give you a shout out. Shout out to Kerry Danford. I appreciate the super chat. Look, we need to get some people in here. Let's hear these stories. Yeah, but look, that happens all the time, and that's what I mean. How do we get these dudes to realize that they little precious baby girls are not the angels that they think they are? And how do we get these dudes to realize, but for putting them in prison for assaulting some young kid, realize sometimes they little smart ass, their daughter's smart ass mouths are writing checks that they asses can't keep, or they sparking up conflict. How do we get these brothers to come down and realize that your daughter is a human being and she's manipulating you into being her CompuServe, which is a term that Dr. Tina Stein Johnson summarized or coined.
For me, it was the same way I handled my sister. I helped raise my sister. So so it was the same way when my sister and her fiance were having issues. I calmed down. I didn't go and make it a huge thing because I know my sister. You know what I mean? Like I know her inside and out.
And let me tell you something, man. Them family members know them kids. Just like my brother came in, Trey. He know his daughter. You know who his daughter is. He knows she kind of, he know. Yeah.
So I didn't jump the gun. I actually waited to see the guy, and I spoke to him. I didn't get aggressive. I didn't get loud and get abrasive. He's a big guy too, just like I'm a big guy. But I didn't want to come at him from a position. I just needed to know what happened. So my sister told me what happened, and then I wanted to hear what happened. And he told me this what has happened, and he apologized. He apologized to me. And I said, listen, I got to let you know that this is the only time this can happen. I said, this is the only time this can happen. And because I won't be so understanding, I understand the dynamics of a man and a woman, how it can go left. And I know some women can sometimes be antagonistic. And I know damn well my sister can be antagonistic. So personally, I told him, but that's my sister. I said, that's my little sister. She don't got a dad. I was the closest thing she knows. And I gotta protect her, but I understand what happened. I have to understand the dynamic of what happened.
Let me tell you what happened about 2 days ago in New Orleans. Baby mama, right? She said something, and then the dad and the brother run up on the baby daddy. Both of them get laid out. One of them is in the hospital, one of them's in the morgue, and that's the day. So you guys, I know you love your girl children. God bless them. But as much as we know about what the brother, what our sisters do, they call it black female effery, a term coined by Obsidian the Great. Any of you guys who know me, you know Obsidian. Those same little girls do the same stuff. Okay,
you and your mama.
You know,
could do this.
I mean, look, man. I'm just talking to you, brothers. Cause see, if I'm the prosecutor, I'm the judge. Listen to me. If I'm the prosecutor and I'm the judge, I'm gonna put your black ass in jail. I'm gonna put you underneath the penitentiary.
As it should be.
If I find out that you are going off and you done hurt some other brother, especially on something that one of these girls or women or your wife have told you, I'm gonna put your black ass under the penitentiary for as long as I can, because you're stupid. You're a simp and you're stupid and you deserve to be removed from the gene pool. As far as I'm concerned, you killed or maimed another black man without knowing the full story, and I'm gonna look at you just like this. And I'm gonna say, brother, you did it. You shot that man, you stabbed him. I'm gonna go ahead and give you 50 years to life on top of another 100 years. It might not give you and have you give you a couple and not give you concurrent. You see what I'm saying? So just think about that. That's what hopefully that brings you down, brothers, because it's gonna be somebody like me who understands what really goes on in the black community that is gonna body your ass. I don't care if you're 45 or 15. I'm gonna put you, your son, everybody that showed up, wherever the body was, when the prosecutors and the police bring you into my courtroom, you're going down because you shouldn't have did it. You shouldn't have listened to what those women had to say, because you are the reason, and I'm not talking about you brothers, but I'm just talking in general. You are the reason why we have so many black men being killed. Oftentimes this crap gets sparked up by men who are allow themselves to be emotionally charged by women who say things and do things when they should be rational and reasonable and not just do things on the strength just because they feel that's their way of getting justice. They want to look like a man in front of their wife or their children. I know a scenario where a brother was minding his own business and a woman hit his car by opening her door. He went out and said, hey, you hit my car. And then he said, well, she's like, no, I didn't. And he said, oh, whatever. So he started taking down her information. And then she got out and confronted him and say, why are you taking pictures of me and my daughter? That's inappropriate. He said, no, I wouldn't do that. What you talking about? You know, next thing you know, she done called his husband her husband up to the place where they were, confronted the man, and then the man who was being confronted by the husband shot that man down. This is real life. So this simping is killing us, brothers. And I love you guys. I'm giving a real example of what happens if you allow these women to emotionally charge you. Now, it's all fun and games when they're getting free meals out of you, and they got your stupid ass buying Birkin bags. And what is that? What's the Hermes bag? Hermes, you're not supposed to say the H. They got you buying Hermes bags you can't afford with your tax return, and got you tricking meals off and all that stuff, taking them on trips. You be the dude taking the picture taking that picture, right? And they be in the mirror with the background of the oceans and stuff behind them, and then you see your reflection and shit in the mirror. You that guy. Okay, you want to be a simp, fine. That's a harmless simp. It's just costing you. But when you allow that to go outside and you begin to attack other black men because of what these women say, that's when you become irresponsible and you need to be punished for it. Anybody else? Let's talk.
I want to go back in here. So this is going back to Trading BD. As a young man,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say, as a young man that is around the same age as your daughter, I'm 25. I'm here to make the statement: not all men out there, especially black men, not all black men are thugs. Men do deep down want to have a relation. They want to have a household. They want to have a relationship, especially if you see that they're trying to become friends to, you or any other girl dads out there. And when it comes to stable men, if there's anything going on where we have to defend ourselves, a lot of times we're going to react. It just is what it is.
It's a man thing. And you got your old 50-year-old ass running up on one of these young Thundercats and you get your ass woe out. That's what I've seen. That's what your ass, you 50 years old with arthritis in the hip and bad knuckles, and you run up on one of these boys who's 21 years old, right? And your daughter that told you, yeah, he did this, that, and the other to me, and you just run out there willy-nilly, and then one of them, but they playing ball all day, they playing football, bench pressing the whole house. You see what I'm saying? And boxing on the side, and doing jujitsu, and you done messed around and threw a hip out trying to listen to something, and then coming to find out that wasn't even the whole story. You
So
see what I'm saying? That's the problem.
Right.
We got Trey back in. Trey, go ahead and we lost you for a minute. Come on back in, brother. Come on back in. Who else want to add on to this conversation?
You mind if I just let me finish it real quick? I'm just
That's none of Israel. Finish what you say, brother. Talk to me.
All right. I was just about to say you'll want to give anyone who wants to have a relationship with your daughter because they want to be a part of the family, they want to be a part of the household. Give them a longer reach because to love your daughter would be to not let, as Dennis put it, the black female fuckery pass. You got to hear it because he's part of the family.
I didn't say the F word because we on YouTube.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you use French toast.
Yeah, French toast. We'll try that, man. Go ahead.
But don't let it pass. You'll want to go and speak to that man. You want to have a relationship, have a good friendship so you could hear from how the relationship's going so that you can have it work.
And look.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just about to say, that's the thing.
You know the thing that agitates me as a father of boys? The idea that when my son turns 17 or 18 and he's going to his senior prom, he's going to be picking up some girl who I don't know, probably, at her house, and her dad is going to confront him and threaten my son with, you better bring her home like you found her, or pulling out a gun or something like that to threaten him. I just want whoever that dad to know, to understand that, first of all, if he threatens my son in any way, the prom date is not going to happen. That's the first thing. And most likely, I'm going to show up with the limousine, and I'm going to show up with 4 or 5 of my personal bodyguards. And if there's any of that foolishness that happens, we're going to be up out of there. And if anything, if my son comes home in any way that's unintact, we're going to have problems, and I'm going to take it personal. You see what I'm saying? Because I love my son just as much as you love your daughters. So why is it that you can't see that? Why is it that you value your daughter's word more than I should value my son's life? Who do you think you are to threaten my son like that? And see, here's the thing. This is a conversation that we're having amongst black men. If you're at this age now, if you're on this conversation, you've been 17 years old before. You've been 18. You've been misunderstood. You know the reputation that we have in this country. You know how hard it is for our young black boys. Why would you as a black man make it hard? Especially when you don't have all the proof you need to justify that this boy has done anything to your daughter. Your daughter could be lying, you know, and your niece could be lying. Your mama could be lying about what happened. You see what I'm saying? So just digest that. Tell me what you think. Fellas, come on in. Trey, you want to say something else? Or who was that?
Go ahead, Trey. No, that's me.
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is the good thing about me being in Montana and my daughter being in Texas was I had time to process like everything you're talking about. Dennis, it was a good thing because that initial reaction, trust me, is there. That initial, you know.
Before we
go ahead, my bad.
Shout out to BGS Itmore, man. If you guys don't know who BGS Itmore is, you should. I want you to make sure you look him up on YouTube and follow. This man is a brilliant scholar. He's definitely, to me, he's one of the first people I ever listened to on YouTube about 4 or 5 years ago. So I want to take time to acknowledge BGS Itmore. But go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That was you, Afro. You were about to come in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that a couple weeks ago here in Brooklyn, a 63-year-old man who looked more like he was in his 50s, but a 63-year-old man was killed when he took a punch to the face and fell on the ground and hit his head. Wow. The reason was he was in a club, and a woman got into a verbal altercation with him. And I think something he said, all he said was that you acting like a wild animal. Something like that. So she went and called someone and said, there's a man messing with me.
Yeah.
So the guy came back, I think it was akin to her, came back, and he was standing outside the club, the bar, and he punched the 63-year-old man in the face, and he fell on the ground in his head, and he died. If you want the article, I'll try to find it. But that man, here's the thing though, that man was a staple in the community. He was a mechanic who helped a lot of the old women. He helped a lot of young guys with jobs and stuff like that. So he was a pillar in the community. So I mean, he was a leader in the community. So now there's a chieftain that's gone.
Yeah, yeah. All because of some lie that a woman said. Because as Dr. T, and I'm gonna go back to Dr. Tia Son Johnson and his statement. They see us as CompuServes, brother. Your daughters too, your nieces too, your mama too. Yep. See, she sees you as her enforcer. She wants you to go out there and enforce her will. They don't want you to. They want you to come be a response team. You see what I'm saying? Simping. We've talked about that. White knight is the probably more appropriate term for what we at now, but it's all interchangeable and related. And we as black men have got to stop being so emotional with that and allowing our emotions to get driven by these things that our sisters say. As much as we love them, women lie. Can we all agree that women lie? They're human beings just like us.
100%.
Well, we lie, right?
Amen.
We lie about, yeah. So women lie. So don't just be so quick to throw your life in the fray and based on something she said he did to her when you don't know what happened. You've been a black man. I'm sure most of y'all had women lie on you. You see what I mean? I know I have. And it's nothing. It's her word against your word. Why you think so many brothers are like, man, I'm done. I'm through with this. I can't deal. These women don't. You can't trust. And then we look on YouTube and we see who the violent ones are. I've seen more violent fights between sisters, black women, than I have brothers over the last 3 or 4 years. So we know they'll throw them hands. We know that they're human beings just like us, brother. So why would we be so quick to believe our daughters? And I know you love them. Your nieces, I know you love them. Your mamas, your grandma. We believe what grandma said, what grandpa used to do back in the day. We don't remember. They didn't tell us.
But we don't ask grandpa. But we don't ask grandpa. Wow.
Yeah, they didn't tell us grandma was throwing frying pans at grandpa back in the day in Arkansas when they lived in that shack. She ain't talking about that. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, but here's the thing that, I don't know if you know, Dennis, but man, I'm hardcore SYSPN, bro.
Yeah.
I am, I'm a hardcore SYSPN, bro.
Trey's is one of our leaders.
And bro, I ain't picking on you at all. I love you.
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you
coming on. But
I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a bank right with this a little bit and switch it over to our sons. Mm-hmm. And based on, seeing my ex-wife and my oldest daughter's mom, how they are, and watching them gain those traits. I've been living this SYSPM lifestyle since about 2003, before it was even named, when I already mentally checked out of my marriage, and I was on the lam till I got divorced. Okay. But I pushed that onto my son. Man, my son has got some cool, nice, feminine, black female friends that are teachers, lawyers, and he friend zones them all. And all he goes with is these badass little Latinas here in Texas.
Okay.
He saw what his mother did for 18 years, and there's no way.
Well, look, the thing is, this is not germane to just one ethnic group. I promise you, Latino women lie too. Matter of fact, I think they up at the top 3 as far as they lie. They lie too. I love them to death, but they lie too. So we're not gonna let and we know that white women lie too. I mean, everybody knows.
We see it every day.
We know they all lie.
Rosewood, okay? That white woman lied and said that black man. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? We know that. We know women lie, and so this is not germane to one group. This is men allowing themselves to be manipulated by women. Because who's the biggest simps in the world? White dudes, because they do all this for white chastity, right? Think about it. They've conquered the whole world for white women, and then these white women, in response, they give them Me Too and feminism. And now they're trying to sweep them out of all the jobs they have and all that. So, yeah, I'm sure that's why you have those white guys who have all these organizations like MGTOW and all that other stuff that's popping. I don't think I can say that. I don't think without getting demonetized. But either way, MGTOW, you know what I'm talking about. So we all are subject to the simping. And what I think we as men generally, but black men specifically, need to do is we need to get ourselves together and stop allowing ourselves to be so emotionally driven. Things that women say. That's just my thought. Yes. Look, before we go any further, we had passed the time that I usually quit, but I'm willing to go a little bit further, and because this seems to be a very helpful conversation. We got over 100 people. I need to get the likes up. I also need you brothers to donate to the super chat, okay? Because I don't see any super chat. I'm looking through the comments. I don't see any super chat. And I don't see any cash apps, PayPal donations popping off. And I am wasting my time. I could be upstairs getting ready to take a nap because I'm older and I need to go to sleep. All right. So before we get going, let's get some more super chats. But as we move forward, what's up to Walk 434? And I see Son of Israel, you back. Introduce yourself, Walk 434. What you got to talk about? Let's talk about simping, white knighting, and what we as black men need to do to get ourselves under control and not allow ourselves to be manipulated by our lovely sisters. Go ahead. What you got? Let's hear.
Salute to you and your panel, Uncle D. It's only two choices for simps. Either feed them red pills or lead. That brother,
we can't kill all of it. What are you talking about? We can't just lay them out like wrong with you, bro. Everybody gonna go to jail. What are you? You can't.
Hold on.
You know how many simps we have in the black community? I think we got more simps pound for pound than any other group on earth. We can't do that. It won't be but 3 of us left. Okay. So I done got some simp in me. So let's not do that. But anyway, I ain't just kidding, bro. What else you got to say, man? I'm just kidding. Let's hear it out.
Yeah. It's they don't have enough prison space to lock us all up.
Right.
But we have to get rid of them because if not, they're going to do it to us. Like you hear these stories about all these simps not willing. They have no qualms about putting hands on us or killing us. So why not have that same aggression towards them?
Because I can tell you that for the right person, you would be a simp too. Okay. And so we're all subject to the simping. All right. It's part
at one point you're right, I was, but then I ate some red pills.
Brother, it's embedded
red pills
and it's embedded in who we are. Okay, we can't get away from it. What I'm saying is we need to allow our logic to rule. Because see, if somebody does something to somebody, if somebody does something to your daughter, they need to be dealt with. You know, now I believe in the justice system because that makes sure that we don't go to street vendettas and all that. But what I'm saying is, but we have to use logic. We can't overreact, man. We are too valuable.
I say this. If your daughter happens to be walking down the street or something, minding her business or something, and like she gets raped, and you know who the guy is.
Hold on a minute. Is she just walking down the street? I mean, bro, okay. Let's not say that word because that'll get me demonetized too.
Okay, if she happens to be just minding her own business, and
somebody does something really
bad to her, and you know they went through the legal process and nothing happened to that guy, and you know where that guy is. If you want to do something to that guy, more power to you. You know,
I'm pretty sure that if a black man even breathed on a woman wrong, and the DA has any proof of that, he's going to prison. You see what I mean?
See, here's the deal right here, brother.
Because what if
puts herself in a position? If she puts herself in a
position, I don't care if she put herself in a position. If it was non-consensual and he's prosecuted, he's going to jail. Hell, even sometimes look at Bill Cosby. If it was consensual, he's still going to jail. So that's very unlikely. You see what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Look at the stats. It's a lot.
But here's the issue.
Very heinous crime. We ain't went there yet. That's something different. I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about when they get in these abusive relationships with these thug boyfriends where they say, you know, I don't want to date no dude unless he got a body on him. And then next thing you know, this dude ends up beating them or whatever, you know, and it's simply a situation they put themselves in. Why should I feel sorry for her? Because after this man, she said she wanted a violent, abusive man. She got that, and now this man is violent and abusive towards her. Why should I feel any sympathy or empathy toward her?
Okay. Thank you, Afro Patriarchy. I appreciate the $10 cash app, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, bro. Bro, here's the thing. First of all, brothers shouldn't be letting their hands on these women in the first place. And if you feel you're in a situation where you have to, you got to get out that relationship ahead of time. You knew she was crazy, and she knew you was crazy when y'all got together. But y'all asses decided to be together. You see what I'm saying? That needs to be separated. Shout out to Bagley. I appreciate the super chat. I'm seeing more men being emotional, not logical. Shout out to Jesse Andrews. Wow, $49.99. The knowledge you have been given has been next level. I appreciate the video on owning your own was classic. Thank you so much, brother. I went way out with that. I kind of was thinking maybe this morning I should delete it, but you know, I see you brothers appreciate that because you know that's a little bit out of my character. But bro, some of this stuff can be avoided. You know what I mean? And I'm back on Walk 434. Look, we know we have a violent culture amongst us. I talked about that yesterday. We can't even get together with our own family members sometimes without going upside each other's heads. You see what I'm saying? And so if
just like we know it's there, we know we can avoid it.
Yeah, you can avoid it by not being with people like that. But see, the thing I'm talking about today is if you got if brothers, like let's say that situation happened, you know this man and this woman is your relative. They've been going upside each other's heads for years now, or months. And you know what she does, but now you decide since he done got the better end of the whooping, right? So he done put something on her so bad. Now y'all want to go jump on, y'all want to ride over and jump on him and you don't even really know what happened, but you do know that your lady relative is prone to violence. You see what I'm saying? Why? I mean, you know, at some point we got to realize I can't get myself involved in this because I know this was a two-way street. She just got to report it to the police and move on.
You're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. I'm not. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, brother. I apologize. I guess, you know, we have to be very careful with that because I don't want any of these brothers to ever think I'm an advocate for violence other than when you're protecting yourself, especially when you're protecting yourself against serious physical harm. You see what I'm saying? We don't want to do that. We don't want to, there's enough of that. We have enough of that sickness in the Black community. I'm tired of it. Aren't you guys tired of it? You see, we do violence against each other, and then we think of, I mean, now I done went off on a tangent. We kill 30,000 Black men every year.
Right, but if you look at most of those deaths, it's 2 Black men and there's a woman in the middle. It's the women,
brother. It's the women. A Black man killing another Black man. Guess how many cops kill Black men every year?
It's like a little over 100.
210 on average.
It was only
so which is the bigger threat to our life?
Yeah.
What I'm saying? The police or us? And so what do we do to resolve that conflict? Man, I set up for 7 years and I wrote these 3 books, How to Maintain Peace of Mind and Happiness in a Conflicted World. And it talks about conflict resolution. And part of that, especially in this book, I speak about resolving conflict related to physical violence. I started off in LA, South Central, and then I ended up after the 1990 riots, after we tore our city up, after we beat up a bunch of people just because they look white. I'm talking about Mexicans, white people, light skin, Black. I watched all that. You see what I'm saying? And I realized ain't nothing gonna change. And so violence is not the answer. So what do we have to do amongst each other? We got to change our culture. You see what I mean? And I think and I believe this wholeheartedly, we as men, okay, we as men need to be at the forefront of that, brother. That's what I'm thinking, man. So look, who hasn't spoken in a while? Because I want to make sure everybody gets in because all your questions are important.
I haven't said anything yet, man.
Hey, James, what's up, James? Come on in, talk to us. Tell us
what up, man. You know I support you, man, since the first time. What up, fellas, man? Salute to everybody in the chat room. Salute to the platform, man. I like to say thank you, man. Thank you very much because I don't have these brothers and I don't have this platform in my community. There's nobody I could talk to. I've been through the child support court, 3 separate incidents, and I actually won my case, man. So I get to see my kids and all. You know what I'm saying? I lost my father last year, so I don't have powerful brothers who I could talk to. I work in a white institution, you know what I'm saying? So they can't relate to me of the issues in a dynamic. No doubt, man. So I like to say this, though, brothers. You know what I'm saying? We could wear the clothes. We could go to the gym. We could do all of these things, man. The man make the clothes don't make the man. We got to have a sound mind. We got to have a strong backbone, and we got to come together on our boat. We may go to, you know what I'm saying, to the island on different boats, but we all got to have one agenda, man, which is building Black boys up, Black men up, man, and be stern out here and know what we seeing before that we get into these. Agreed. And right, before that we get into these situations where these women could drain us of our resources by taking us to a court where that court is built on protecting that woman, man. We know this for a fact. You could go on any Google or any platforms and look this up. There's no place for a Black man to express himself. Only on these platforms You know what I'm saying? Like what he doing right now, like the Green Gorilla, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. And he's telling us that we have to have a sound mind. We have to be spiritual first because we so driven off of our egos. You know what I'm saying? Because we built these institutions, we got money, we built a house, you know what I'm saying? We raising our kids, but our minds are still not right when it comes to building us up. We have to look at us internally to our spiritual being, which is the highest power, you know what I'm saying? Which transmits the information to us so we could come together, man, and build like Voltron, man. We got to be spiritual connected. You feel me?
I appreciate that. Now, who else would like to add on to the subject that we talked about, building ourselves up, following up? Thank you, James Keel. I appreciate that input. Who else wants to add on to that, brother, about what we talking about with the simping and how we can, I mean, give me some steps. We got a girl, we had a girl dad in here. Give me some steps we can take so that we can begin to better analyze. I'm gonna give y'all a scenario. You tell me what to do. Your little girl runs in the house crying, said the boy down the street hit. What do you do?
What did he do?
And this is Son of Israel. What do you do?
First thing I ask, what did he do? I want to know, what did he do? Like, just straight up, give me the scenario. That's the first thing you need to do, is get the information and then say, okay, who was it? What did they do? When did it happen? They called it, it was something like, I think 5 W's. You need to know the 5 W's: when, where, who, what,
why,
and why.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get those 5 W's. Then once you've got it from her, then you need to go get it from the man. Because I'm thinking about this, if I was a grown man doing this, okay.
We talk about 2 kids. We haven't got to that scenario. Some little kid, some little boy down the street, some little peanut head boy done hit your daughter, and she run in the house crying with her pigtails and say, he hit me. Do you overreact? Do you run down the street? Do you run up on the kid? What do you do? I mean, I want you to educate the brothers that are listening. That's what I'm saying. You guys are in a position of teacher now.
I see. Young little girl. Okay. It still applies to where you gotta ask, okay, so he hit you, what were you doing? What happened? You were at the you were at the playground. What did you do? Did he just come over there and hit you? You still kind of need to know the scenario of what went on. And if he went and just came over there and hit you, because we know this happens, little kids, they might still be like not really aware of like boys and girls, how that works. And so maybe he has some feelings or something. He just going up and smack her upside the head or something like that. So
all right. And so all the brothers who are listening saying, shoot, that would be me. I'm going upside his head. How do you tell those? And I'm moving on to the next. Who wants to take this part, James?
I got it because I'm.
How do you keep calm in a situation where some little boy then hit your daughter upside the head or where? How do you remain as a man? What do you do to calm down? What do you focus on? What do you think about? Because that's your baby girl. So how do you feel?
I actually been through. I actually had a situation like this occur to me. You know what I'm saying? So what did I do, man? I just gave myself at least like 15 minutes to really think about it because I'm hot right now. I'm eating off of emotions and it's going to cost me to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? I was currently on papers at this time. So me personally, right? I gave myself 15 minutes, man. And I actually told my daughter, this is not what you do. Because I don't know what that person got out their house, man. I could run up the street, you know what I'm saying? See their family. Ain't no telling how he's trained with his parents. And ain't no telling because that could be another situation of violence. Somebody could get killed. Somebody could get stabbed, hurt, shot, whatever the case may be. So what I got to do as a man is tell her this is not the situation. This is not what men do. And actually train my daughter on how to defend herself just in case this episode happened again. You know what I'm saying? Because these daughters are not being trained how to defend themselves.
I'm going to throw something else out there. Here comes the funky one. So your daughter comes in and she tells you and you say that, and then your wife or girlfriend says, you ain't gonna do nothing about that. You need to go out there and deal with that, blah, blah, blah. If you don't go, I'm gonna go. What do you do then?
For one, For one, I can't mess with. See, my baby mom don't even give it up like that, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm asking. See, it's not about
yeah,
you.
yeah. But I'm gonna tell them. That they need to tell them that they need to be quiet. They don't understand this situation. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to turn into an argument. But at the end of the day, I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going up there.
I get that. You're not going up there. But how do you avoid her not? I mean, because see, here's what happens. If she
how do you avoid her getting in her feelings
down there? If she goes out the house and goes down there, then you're going to get drugged along. And when those other people see you, they're going to assume y'all all coming to do some damage, right? Right. So how do you, I'm asking you brothers for conflict resolution advice for people, especially black men who get drugged into these fights. Because see, this same scenario applies in many different ways. It might not just be your girl daughter. It might be your mama. She been fighting with Mr. Pete again, okay? And you don't know what happened, and you come over there. Next thing you know, your mama done drug you into a fight or baited you into a fight.
I had a situation like that.
Yeah, we have to.
Go ahead. Let's
go. You're gonna have to call the police, man. You're gonna have to call the cops.
You're gonna have to get involved with the cops.
You have to get involved with the cops.
When a friend of mine's out
and what happens when black people call the police and the police come out? If you're not trained, police on a black man, Mr. Pete is still a black man. What happens when you call the police out?
You know, he's going to get locked up.
We don't like the police. Didn't we say defund the police or something like that? I thought that was what y'all was saying for the past 9 months. How do we do? What do we do? Because I was watching y'all on CNN out there. I've come from the school of Malcolm X. I don't believe in protesting and stuff like that. I'm just
right.
You know what I'm saying? But I know you brothers, y'all protest. Black Lives
Matter. Not me. I'm not protesting. I'm not doing that. We got to get financial backing first.
Don't you put that on me.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. I ain't tap that shit out there.
I know what you're doing. But anyway, like I'm just BS aside, how do we deal with that? Are we just gonna call the cops?
That's hard, man, because we don't even have a community. We don't have a community of brothers who could intervene on that. Like there's nobody I could go to, an older gentleman, and like, yo, somebody have to be the middleman, because what if I do call the cops and something happened to this brother? You know,
and the police show up and shoot at you. How about that? Because you
right. So it's hard, bro.
Scenario, right?
I'm not gonna say that I have all the answers, because it's hard, man. This question is hard. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm gonna bring it back in.
Question to answer. Your mama has said Mr. Pete then went upside her head. Tyrone, come over here, man. Mr. Pete then went upside my head again. I need you to come over here.
Okay. Let me go in on that. I can go in on that one because I had a situation very similar to this, except I wasn't there. I was in basic training. My mom was at home. She's had.
You were safely away in the military, so you could. I can't do nothing, Mom. It's on you. Yep. Okay, good. Let's hear about it.
She had feuds with the neighbors. They would just do little things that just kind of aggravated each other. And at one point, she got into a situation because she's hot-headed, where
your mama. Go ahead.
Yep. The neighbor did something. It was like a New Year's thing. They were kind of like partying, and they were throwing, I guess, stuff over into her yard. She went out there. A confrontation happened. Police wasn't called. This is the thing that we need to understand. We need to understand how to deal with the police. That's where I'm going to get into this. The biggest thing is prevention, and where prevention starts is understanding how services are used and what they're there for. Because when you get involved in things without the services being involved first, if they come afterwards, they can only go on what they've heard. So this situation happened with my mom. She got involved with the neighbors. They actually did something because they had a weapon. They pulled it out on her. She, being hot-headed though, went and they got in a confrontation, and she actually poked him a few times. And
your mama brought a knife to a gunfight, man.
She brought it was like a shiv. I mean, it's what it is. She shivved him a bit. She actually got him pretty good. Brother came, brought a gun, pointed it at her. Didn't shoot her though, but had a gun in her face. Cops came later, but because the situation already happened, they can only go off of what they hear, what they see, and basically just go in favor of who they want to go in favor of. And so it didn't go, I'll just say it didn't go in their favor. So to put that in a summary, you need to be on the side where you can have the most proof you can have. And even bringing that back to the form of the what you were saying about the daughter coming back from getting hit, just the small things like that. You want to put yourself in the side where you have the most information and most control of things. So say if you got a woman, you got your woman, and she's like, she comes and she says, oh, well, that happened, I'm going to go over there. You let her know, hold up, get up, grab her, tell her, hold up, no, you can't do that. Understand, this is between kids. You can't just go over there and go mess with that kid. They're kids. So having that in your mind, you settle yourself down. Okay, they're kids, and kids do kid things. Knowing that, how do we proceed from then on? Same with the situation I was saying before. Okay, they're throwing stuff in my yard. They're acting the fool. You know, you go out there, you say, hey, stop acting the fool. And they aren't doing that. One thing that helps with that, my mom has cameras on her, or she now gets a lot more cameras. She should have just kept it to the cameras. Or even now, you have the phone. Just take your phone out there, record the stuff that's going on. Hey, they're throwing stuff into my yard. I just came over there. I told them to stop. They say, hey, no, fuck you or whatever. Right, I'm sorry about that.
No problem, no problem. And before we shout out to Chris P. I appreciate the super chat donation. But would anybody else like to add in? How do we resolve these type of conflicts?
I would say this.
Go ahead.
I would say this. I've dealt with this as older brother. I've dealt with this when it came to my sister and certain people. And I had some frenemies that live across the street.
Don't we all?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And they used to harass. When my sister had little friends in the yard, they used to harass them. And I've had to pull them aside and sometimes go to the grandmother. You know what I mean? They're older, they're around my age, but I had sometimes go to their grandmother and be like, listen, you're gonna have to talk to them because they're being difficult, and I don't want to come at them in a certain way because we still have a repertoire. But I would pull them, and then if the grandmother couldn't really handle them, I'll pull them aside and be like, listen, man, do you want me to go to your father with this? Because their father was a thug, like straight up. You know what I mean? His name was Big T. He ruled the block. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was to be like, yo, do you want to go? Because you gotta leave him alone, man. You're giving me a headache here. You gotta leave them alone. And a lot of times they'll just come say some little certain things, act the fool.
How do you deal with emotional men when you tell them your daughter, your girlfriend, your wife, your mama is tripping on me, man? Get under control, and then he gets out of line with you. How do you deal with that? Before we go further, because we know how that scenario goes. But before we go forward, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who's making donations to the super chat. Look, I spend a lot of time preparing for this. I take a lot of time away from my children preparing for this. Okay, it's open to the public, but I appreciate the donations. Just like you guys could be watching television and watching those commercials and whatnot, doing the television, you pay the white man. You see what I mean? You got me up here doing this. We've been here for 2 hours. There's plenty of other stuff I could be doing, and I know I'm hosting this panel, but I had to buy all this equipment, get these cameras together, get these lights lit up. I got to sit here and do this. And so I appreciate everybody who makes these super chat donations, these Cash App donations. Calvin S., thank you. You said you must remember it's a child. Best thing to do is talk to the parents. It's the child. What you gonna hurt a child? Hell no. So I appreciate Calvin S. I appreciate that donation. But I need you guys to show me that you appreciate my time here. I know you guys are participating, and I appreciate you guys too. Make sure you make it worthwhile, fellas, because I promise there's other stuff I could be doing on a Friday. That said, what do you do when you confront a man who is the protector of some woman or some group of women or girl, and you trying to tell him, look, man, your daughter or your wife or your girlfriend is disrespectful, and I'm talking to you as the man because I want you to handle that. Because I remember a situation that happened. I saw it on YouTube. It was some woman, a very heavy-set woman, was popping off to some brother who was on his way to work. And her little boyfriend was like, calm down, calm down, calm down. And instead of whooping the woman's butt, he decided to tee off on the brother and stomped him out on the middle of the bus. This is YouTube. You can look at this. We've seen it happen before.
Oh, my God.
I remember that. So do you guys remember that YouTube video? It was a guy was in the bus. Yeah, so
was that New York as well?
Yeah. It could have been. It could have been. But what I'm saying is, what if the roles reverse? You go try and talk to this man about what his woman is doing, and he attacks you. Talk to me. But how do you deal with these possibly emotional men who are simps or who are white knights? How do we deal with them?
Uncle D, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I'll give you a story. Now, I was in a position where my mother and my sister tried to turn me into that emotional simp. My sister, she liked hanging around, you know, the thug dudes or whatever, you know, end up going to a card game. And one of these thug dudes that she liked didn't like how he was losing money at the card game, decided to pull out a gun, start shooting inside the card game. Mm-hmm. She gets hit in the stomach. Everybody leaves. She had to drive herself to the hospital while bleeding from the abdomen. And the doctors even told her if she'd have been more than 1 block from the hospital, she wouldn't be here living today. Because she actually had to drive herself to the hospital, park her car in, you know, valid parking, and then get out and walk into the emergency room while bleeding from the abdomen, right? So now I'm in the military at this time. So in the military, you know, of course, they give you the tool, they give you the tools and the knowledge on, you know, how to, you know, how to fight in war. So let's just say I had the tools and the knowledge, and I knew who the guy was to go do something about it. But when they called me and told me that this guy had shot her, not only did he shoot her, he actually went up to the hospital and told her that if she told the detectives who he was, that she was going to come back and get him. Mm-hmm. That he was going to come back and get her. And they told me all this, you know, I'm still in the military. They told me all this. You know what I told them? I don't care. She chose to put herself in that situation. What you calling me for?
All right. So, brothers, look, I appreciate that. And that's a good way. Are you going to say, look, I'm not getting into that. I'm going to give you, brothers, we got about another 5 minutes. I want all y'all to chime in on this. I have a question I want to ask you. It's very important. It seems as though when a black woman like Megan Thee Stallion alleges that she's attacked by a black man, like what's the little man's name? What's the little short guy that she's attacked? What's his name?
Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez. The whole world comes to her aid, right? The whole world. We didn't pay attention to what Tory Lanez had to say. I don't know the scenario, but I do know that Megan Thee Stallion has admitted on YouTube, is admitted on social media that she had a confrontation with a previous boyfriend because she caught him cheating. So she decided to go upside his head. So she has a history of attacking.
She got arrested for it. She got arrested for it.
And matter of fact, she says she will, what does she say? She will run down on the dude. She ain't running from nobody, right? So we clearly have a young woman who's confrontational. Still, it seems as though even when the evidence shows that she will start these fights and pick these fights, we still have an impulse to jump to the side of these women. And I know some of you brothers that are listening did. You say, oh, that's cold. He a punk. He shouldn't be hitting her like that. That's a woman. But this woman, and mind you, she probably outweighs him by about 80 pounds. And she's a strong Texas girl. God bless her. We all seen her. She's a strong, healthy young woman. Okay. What I'm saying is, why is it that, and I have an answer, but I want you brothers to tell me, why is it that society always jumps to the side of the women, even when they're dead wrong? And is that the reason? Is there some sort of sociological programming and that causes these brothers and men in general to become white knights? Because we've seen it happen in the white community. All a white woman has to do is says a black man breathed on her and he's going underneath the penitentiary forever. So what is it? How can we actually fight this symptom, this white knightness? How can we do it? If it's part of it's ingrained in our human character, in what got us here from 1.5 million years ago. How do we combat that? How do we allow our logic to combat that? Let's hear. We'll start with Afro patriarchy, since this is gonna be the last round of questions. And look, I'm gonna cut this short if I don't get some more super chats. Because I usually do this for hours. We've been here all going on 2 hours. But this is the last round and we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Kevin Chrysler. I appreciate it. Thank you, Just Me. You, Afro patriarchy. Why do we always jump to the side of the women even when we know they did wrong? Let's hear.
It begins with our mamas. It begins with our mamas. And we forget one thing I had to learn was that my mama's still a woman. She's still a woman. Before she was a woman before me, she's gonna be a woman when she's put in the ground. So, you know, being a mother is just a part of life. It's just a phase. It's a stage of life. It doesn't mean that this is her whole being. You know what I mean? People, just like men have a duality, women have a duality. Have a duality to them as well. Sometimes it just depends on which one you feed the most. You know what I mean? And most times from my personal experience, women like they like to jump into chaos, and you have to be a firm, logical man to not allow that chaos to manipulate you into participating in that. It's a hard thing. It's a very hard thing, and I'll just leave it with by saying this: men need to have strong frame. We need to have strong frame, meaning we don't allow our emotions to govern our actions. We take time, we breathe, we allow ourselves to our minds to think, and then we move forward from there.
All right. Thank you I appreciate that. Hang around for a minute. Walk 434. What's your response, man? How do we, as men, get control of this emotionalism that's causing us to turn into white knights and simps and jump automatically to the side of women, even if we know they're wrong? How do we do that?
It's simple. Value. If you start valuing men more than you do women, then it starts right there. Simple things. I can tell you that I changed my whole outlook towards how I deal with black men like 10 years ago by stop using one word, the N word. And if any of your brothers are using that word, you're dead wrong. I don't care how you try to justify it, you're dead wrong. 10 years ago, I stopped saying that word and I started saying brother. And I found out that when I used that word, I started to look at black men more differently. You know, instead of saying, you know, what's up, N word? How you doing, brother? Because I didn't view them as N words. I viewed them as brother. I cared about them more. So now I care about seeing them survive and succeed and do everything in life that I'm doing versus being adversarial towards them. And as long as they don't value themselves, they view women as more of a prize than them, then they'll always have animosity to the point where they'll listen and they'll be willing to jump out the window for any of these women, no matter what, even if they are dead wrong.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
That's how their mother raised them to be.
All right. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Son of Israel, what you got? It's the last round.
Most definitely. It's the same as what the two brothers before me said. Brothers got to understand it's not goofy, it's not lame to be calling your brother a brother. You have to understand that this current state of society where we're at right now profits off of, back to like what you were saying when you say the news loves to put it on the woman's side, they profit off of that. Right. And you have to understand that. And part of the way to fight against that is understanding, hey, you have to have a better relationship with your brothers, because we know we're growing up in this society where women are having, I won't say really a benefit, because at the end it's not really a benefit for them, but in the beginning they have a strong benefit to them. And what it ends up in is what we see right now, a lot of single mother-led households where you're getting taught to be more of a simp than usual, and it helps to hurt you. And so part of getting out of that is understanding it and having a better respect for your brothers and raising up your sons to have better respect for brothers, and that's all it is.
All right, I appreciate that, Son of Israel. All right, last but not least, James Keel, talk to us, man. Tell us, what can we do?
Man, Like I said, man, thank you, man, because I was raised in a household with three women's, my mother, my sister, and my aunt, man. So as I grow and listening to these platforms by listening to Dennis, Dr. Son Johnson, I had to erase all the stuff that they had taught me, man. You have to retrain your mind. You have to make your mind like a bunker. You know what I'm saying? So these women's can't penetrate your thinking process. And you have to sacrifice. You sacrifice everything else for your family. Now you have to re-sacrifice your training process. You have to build that armor, man. It's just like working out. You're going to go through pain. You're going to go through agony. You're going to go through blood. You're going to go through sweat. You're going to go through tears. These are the things that you need to focus on when you by yourself. Look yourself in the mirror, ask yourself the tough questions, and you have to self-evaluate yourself, man. Your brain power, your thoughts, your energy, who you hang around, how you eat. You know what I'm saying? Building your spine, man. Working out your mind, reading books like The Mass Incarceration, the new Jim Crow law. What else I'm reading? And I'm also reading the Man Not book. That's a powerful book, man, by Dr. Curry. So I suggest these young brothers, older gentlemen, to take your L, man. Take your L, deal with your losses. You know what I'm saying? And also deal with your losses and wins at the same process. It's a learning process. I know it's hard because we older, younger, or whatever. And this is new information upon of us when you're dealing with red pill, black pill, and all these other pills. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story, though. That's something of a 3-year process. It took me 3 years to get to this thinking process, what I am. You know what I'm saying? And being around other guys who at the top and who see this every day. They see it from the top, the middle, and the bottom. We see what these women's doing to us, and we have to listen to these gentlemen because we got 2 ears and 1 mouth, man. So I know I could get long-winded, so I just want to brace myself right there. And thank you, gentlemen, for even allowing me to speak and me actually giving some input into this conversation, man. And I like to commend all you brothers on this platform and all the brothers and everybody that's tuning in and listening, and even the ones that's in the clouds that don't want to chime in these type of topics, because somebody's probably hurt. Somebody probably dealing with some pain right now, man, because I know I dealt with the pain. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in a household with 3 women's, man, and then actually going down south, visiting my grandmother when I was a young buck and actually seeing that through her. So all I had was women's, man. You know what I'm saying? Because my dad was out the household. My brother was doing time in prison. So all I had was these women teaching me the wrong things, man. You know how much pain that is going to school?
James, I want you to call back. I think next week we're going to have a subject and we're going to talk about situations where men are raised by all women. But I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate what you're doing here.
Right. Yes, sir. I definitely will, man. I will.
All right. So I thank you, everybody. I thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and close out. I'm going to close up. But before I do, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Afro Patriarch, the son of Israel, James Kill. Thank you so much. I have a few closing statements I want to add about this. You guys, I'm going to put you on mute and I'm going to continue. And but before I do, I want to first say thank you to Kevin Chrysler for the $50 super chat donation. He said, "I appreciate you, Uncle D, from Indianapolis, all the way up from Indianapolis, Indiana." All right. And Mr. Hayes, thank you so much. He said, "I think society goes to aid of women because of the Bible. The Bible says, show pity to women, for they are the weaker vessel. Also, women been backing each other up for ages, unlike men." That's something we can hit on before I leave. And I think he's referring to female-owned group preference. And he also is referring to the fact that even the Bible is patriarchal in the sense that it sees women as the weaker vessel, which is something I'm going to touch on. Here's the thing, folks. And thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for all your input. I appreciate everybody for your super chat donations. Here's the thing. If I'm sitting as a judge and a young man comes in, a man of normal size, he comes in and he tells me that he was in an altercation with a woman. She hit him and then he hit her back. As a judge, the question that I'm going to ask myself, even if this is a self-defense that he's bringing forth, was the force used to respond to the initial attack reasonable? Now, if we're talking about an average man, we'll say the average man is 5'10", 185 pounds. And the average female is 5'3", 130 pounds. If she punched him, even if she punched him right in the nose or the chin or one of these other bottom places, and then he responded with a punch to her in the nose, the question that we have to ask, because she hit him in the nose, he hit her in the nose. The question we have to ask, based on him being a man, was the force reasonable? Now, the truth is, I mean, there are two human beings going at it, but when you get into the specifics of it, that's a man hitting a woman, and no matter how hard she hits him at 135 pounds, and she being the average size of a woman, and him being 185 pounds, him being the average size of a man. And I'm pulling stats out of nowhere really with this, because, you know, people are bigger or smaller depending on the part of the country you live in. But the bottom line is the judge is going to say the force was unreasonable automatically. It was unreasonable because he's a man, bigger bone structure, denser muscles, more upper body strength. And so it's unreasonable. So the court even is inclined to look at the man's response as not an act of self-defense. And that, in essence, summarizes the bias that society has when there's a man and a woman in conflict. Now let's take it home to somebody's daddy or somebody's brother or somebody's uncle. You hear that some man or some boy has hit your daughter or niece or something like that. Your automatic response is going to be like that judge sitting up there who's going to say, no matter what happened, if he hit her back, then that means what? That means his response was disproportionate, so he's already wrong. That's the way society thinks. Society is automatically going to assume that the man is in the wrong because they're going to assume that the woman is the weaker vessel. And that's the quagmire that we're in. And the truth is, for the most part, women are weaker vessels. So what we have to do as thinking, logical men is recognize, you know, sometimes our daughters are wrong. I'm not talking about a situation where she's totally absent any fault. She's walking down the street, somebody stole the purse or grabbed the purse and she tried to chase after and get the purse and got beat up. That's a different kind of problem. I'm talking about men allowing themselves to be manipulated into situations where they can get hurt because something has happened to somebody they love. So the emotionalism is there. And on top of that, that positive patriarchy, that positive chauvinism that drives men to protect women also comes out. That's how men get hurt. In effect, what you're doing is you're putting this woman's interest over and above the interest of this man and yourself, because you're doing something that could land you in jail. So what do we have to do in a situation like this? All men across the board, white men, black men, brown men, you got to stop with the simping. You got to recognize that women are equal in their humanity as men. Women do things, they lie, they make up stuff, they manipulate, like the sister said earlier on in a very eloquent way, and they can manipulate both for positive and negative. So in a situation like that, we as logical thinking men have to evaluate that situation and wonder whether or not, you know what, she might just need to take this lick because she sparked this problem up in the first place. Like the brother Trey came in and said, yeah, well, you know, I was looking for the brother on GP. And then as I asked him further, he said, well, she had cut the young man in his hand, which probably was a defensive cut. And he had his fists all wrapped up. And then sometime later on, they got in another altercation in the quad, and he ended up slapping her. See, when you dig a little deeper, oftentimes you'll get both sides of the story, and then you can evaluate that. I ask you, brothers, for cooler heads to prevail. First of all, nobody should be laying hands on anybody else. And in a situation where you're forced to defend yourself, use the adequate amount of force. Don't bring don't use a disproportionate amount of force. Don't do that, because all you're gonna do is land yourself in the downtown Hilton, and you're gonna be sitting in front of somebody like me who has to leave at 5 o'clock, and I'm not gonna be too concerned about too much of what you got to say outside of what's brought before me in the court of law. And if honestly, if I'm the judge looking, I'm like, man, this girl's 135 pounds, you 180 pounds, man. She hit you, you hit her back. Okay, you say it's self-defense, but damn, you broke her nose. You don't even have a scratch on you, brother. You see what I'm saying? And so what do you want? You want me to say that was proportionate in response? I can't. I got to give you some time. You see, and that's the situation that you brothers put yourself in when you're an outside man looking at the situation. Yeah, that man is going to go to jail for hitting the woman, but then something bad will happen to you because you jumped in and tried to intercede. The best thing to do, unfortunately, is not a whole lot of options. First of all, teach your daughters, you know, to try to avoid conflict. Don't allow them to think that you're going to come save them, even if they are dead wrong and they're starting up stuff. That's where it starts. You got to teach her that, hey, baby, there's repercussions to this. If you go out there and start some trouble, that's a problem. You know, you can put my life in jeopardy or somebody. And another thing, you know, teach your daughters to keep their hands to themselves. That's another thing that we should begin to do. And teach them to respect manhood in general. That's another thing we should do. And brothers, when this situation happens and your daughter comes to you, and don't turn into a simp. When your mama tells you about what Mr. Pete has did to her this week, don't turn into a white knight or a simp automatically. Even your wife. Don't, if you know your wife better than most people. You need to let logic and the cool heads prevail in a situation like that. Because, hey, bad things could happen all the way around. And that's the last thing we need in the black community. More black men. We don't need more black men in prison, more black men in the morgue. We got enough. We paid our part in blood. So I hope you all have enjoyed tonight's programming. I hope you appreciate what I'm doing here. I hope we've had a great discussion that's benefiting you. I hope that you've learned from the people that have chimed in tonight. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you, brothers. I appreciate all the donations. Hey, I'm going to leave this up, man. I think this has been a good program. If you'd like to donate to the Cash App, it's right there. That's cash.me/, Dennis Sperling. And then PayPal is right there. And, of course, the Super Chat. Thanks, everybody. We're going to leave you to the classic tunes of E40 Fonzarelli from the Bay Area. So I'm going to turn off the camera and let y'all all enjoy the rhythms and rhymes from the Bay Area. Yeah. And I'm out. Faster than the speed, roll the boat, escape this truck. I put it, make the fake, the fuck, got me, that's not the way to do. Captain Mama, Captain Sailor, Sal, came to me. Flash just like a little back jump in front of my company. I had a chicky basket, get checked up in buckets. Talking to me while I'm beating down, but when you're talking about honey, you don't let your spend something. Should I say? I wanna be saved. Should I say? I wanna be saved. Should I say?